Hello! This time I click record. Hello and welcome to a new video, and today we're doing a bit of a trip report of our Walt Disney World trip in February. Feels like a lifetime ago now.
It really does. Yeah, so we went to Walt Disney World beginning of February 2020, and we thought we'd just do a little trip report because whilst we've got the vlogs up, we don't really sort of talk about our
experience,
or like thoughts on things or like any review type.
And also there's a lot of bits that are skipped over, like travel.
Yeah, and just generally thought it's just easy to just do like a little sit down of talking about the trip.
Yeah. So first of all we want to go over the flights.
Because that's where the trip starts.
So we flew Iceland from Manchester to Orlando. That includes a stopover in Keflavik airport in Iceland, and it was about a 2.5 hour layover, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's about that. So it's like a 2 and a bit hour flight from Manchester to Iceland, then about 2.5 hours in Iceland, and then it was an 8 hour, I think.
7, 8,
something like that.
Depends on the weather and the wind.
To Orlando. So
it comes out at about a total of 12
to 14 hours.
It goes a lot quicker than it sounds.
Yeah. We set off from Manchester at like midday on the Saturday, and we got to Orlando at 8:30 Orlando time on the Saturday night.
Yeah.
But obviously the time differences, it means it was like 3 AM the Sunday morning for us. But I feel like it was better because it meant that we were the only plane that landed at that time, so the queue at immigration was literally just our flight.
Yes, by the time we actually got off the plane, because we were towards the back,
the
queue was about 15-20 people, so it wasn't too bad.
I wouldn't even consider it a queue because they were constantly calling people.
Yeah.
Our bags were there because we were the only flight to be unloaded from that section of the airport.
Yeah.
We didn't have to queue for the monorail thing.
Is it a monorail? Yeah, it's a monorail. Yeah, we didn't have to queue at all for the monorail. We walked up and walked on to an empty train and...
Yeah, right at the front, So, though, I feel like those things alone, but also the getting off the plane, getting our stuff and then getting to an airport hotel, which is where we decided to stay for the first couple of nights. We were literally ready for bed and it was a reasonable time to be going to sleep. It was like 9:45 by the time we'd sort of unpacked our night stuff and had a shower from general being travelling.
Yeah.
So it felt like a normal time to be going to bed. And then the next day that we got up, we didn't have jet lag.
No.
We were just up, and we even woke up at our normal time that we'd wake up in the UK, but we were in Orlando.
Yeah.
So
I think it works a lot better than, say, the Virgin Atlantic flight that goes direct, because you get dumped out in the airport at around about
3 o'clock.
Isn't it? Yeah, and then you've got a bit of day left. So, are you going to suffer with jet lag and just grin and bear through it and go to parks or go to resorts? It, like you said, we got back to the airport hotel and it was time for bed. We had a drink, went straight to bed, got up next morning, felt brilliant.
Yeah. The only thing I would say about the Iceland Air flights is you don't get food on the flight.
No.
But I don't think that that's a bad thing because, let's face it, airplane food is not the greatest.
No. But we did buy some.
Yeah. So on the way out we didn't bother buying anything because we set off, we had breakfast at Manchester Airport, had the short flight, then got something to eat and got some snacks for on the plane.
Oh, just to butt in while you're there, at Keflavik Airport there is actually facilities right next to the gates, so you don't have to go through security or anything like that. You can just pick up a quick snack, and you can be back in the queue onto the next plane. Yeah,
it's super quick. We literally 30 metres from getting off one plane onto the other ones. Yeah, so
sorry.
But yeah, we picked up snacks and stuff on the flight, and then we didn't feel like any tea when we got there because we'd just been nibbling on the flight. Coming back, the flight took off from Orlando at about 5:30.
Yeah.
So
now I didn't really enjoy the flight home.
No, but we did buy food, didn't we, on that flight?
Yes.
Before you get distracted.
Yeah.
we bought food on that flight at it was about tea time.
Yeah.
And then I thought the food was really nice. And then obviously we got to Iceland. It was about 6 o'clock in the morning. We got to Iceland, and then our next flight left at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
So we just had enough time to get some breakfast and then on to the next flight. But even though you don't get food, you do get drinks, and they're not restricted, if you like.
Yeah, you're not getting a tiny cup of, if you have some Pepsi or Coke, you're going to get a tiny cup. No, you'll get given a can. Unless they're running out, and then they'll share it out. But otherwise, they'll just give you a full can.
And it's free tea, coffee, water, orange juice, apple juice, all that sort of stuff, and soft drinks. So I think it's pretty good selection. And yeah, it didn't bother me that there was no meal included.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were you saying?
So sorry, I was just going to go about the flight home as well. So the problem you have, you're never going to really guarantee the type of plane that you're going to get. And Iceland have about 3 or 4 different classes of planes. So I think it was our flight out from Manchester to Iceland, we got a plane that hadn't been recently refurbished.
Yeah.
And the seats were a bit squished in.
I think it wasn't so much the squished in, it was the padding in the seats.
Yeah, the paddings were almost non-existent, so...
It felt a bit like sitting on a park bench, but I didn't have any problems with the long-haul bits of the flight, so...
The long-haul flight out from Keflavik was actually quite a newer plane and actually been modified and, was quite comfortable. On the return journey, I felt we had a bad plane on the way back.
I slept.
And I didn't. You slept,
and I don't
which is a
usually sleep
rarity
on planes,
for you. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'd fly them again.
Yeah, I've got to say it's a great alternative to, say, Virgin Atlantic. It also costs around about the same, if not cheaper.
Yeah, so we paid £1,100, but that included an additional bag on the way back, which was either £60 or £80. I think it was 60.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm saying that it's comparative price-wise to Virgin, but that's just looking on Google Flights, which usually gives you the option without any bags. So
yeah, and because you do get a 23 kilogram baggage allowance per person.
Yeah.
And then we knew that we'd be buying stuff, so we just preemptively made it that we were.
I've got a Spirit jersey addiction I need to fulfil.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, we picked Icelandair because we have been to Iceland a lot. We generally fly Icelandair about once a year.
Yeah.
So it made sense for us points-wise to keep adding to the points that we have there. But I would happily, even if we weren't collecting Icelandair points, I would happily fly that route again. I thought it was fine.
That inbound flight into America is just at the perfect time, I think. Absolutely perfect time. So, the first hotel.
Yeah, so the first 2 nights that we were in Orlando, we stayed at the Sheraton Suites, which is near the airport. I don't know where in relation to the airport.
It's north of the airport.
But it was like a 10-minute shuttle bus ride.
I don't even think it was that.
Yeah, probably less. It probably felt longer than it was.
Yeah.
But it was a free shuttle bus that the hotel had. You just had to call up and say, "I'm here." Yeah. And they'll tell you where to.
You just got to go to one of the little bus lanes outside the airport on the ground floor.
Yeah.
And they come and pick you up. It's great.
We had, as the name suggests, a suite. It's actually all that they do at that hotel is suites. So we had a little desk area, a sofa and TV bit.
Yeah. So it's like just a living room and a bedroom and a separate bathroom. Had a tiny little kitchenette. In the sense it had a microwave and a fridge. I mean, it's great.
But then that equally was enough, I suppose, for what you needed.
And we paid...
$80 a night.
$80 a night, which for an airport hotel I think is an absolute steal.
Yeah, and it was really nice.
Yeah.
We didn't use it, but you could see from our room, we could see the pool, and it looked like a really nice pool area. Yeah. The pool was like an inside-outside one. It had sun loungers and... Yeah, I thought all the facilities and the staff were nice.
Had a bar, a nice breakfast area. The breakfast was good.
It was.
Very filling, and it was $14.
Yeah, we had to pay extra for breakfast. It was I think it was about $14 per person. Yeah. But that was purely just because we didn't want to go adventuring. But there were a Denny's and an IHOP, so you could have done it cheaper.
Walking distance as well.
Yeah. We just decided that because we knew that first day that we were there, we wanted to get to Kennedy.
Yeah.
We didn't want to like go off and then have to come back.
Yeah.
And it was just a thing of we can go downstairs, get breakfast, get our stuff, go.
So that was sort of the basis of our choice of staying there as well, is that we didn't really want to go to a Disney resort and then have to go out to Kennedy.
Yeah,
it just seemed a bit of a waste.
We would essentially be paying to travel back to the airport and then a bit further, so it was like, well, we're already halfway.
Yeah, because
so.
we'll get into the resort and then we'll go to Kennedy for the entire day, so that's a day wasted in the resort.
Yeah.
So it was just one point. So yeah, we just stayed at the close airport hotel, and then at the end of the stay we just got a lift to the Disney resort.
Yeah.
And it took about 15 minutes.
Yeah,
like
it's about that. Yeah.
And nowhere now.
Because we could essentially then control what time we wanted to get there, so we didn't have to rush in the morning. We could have left it until check-in was fully open. We just decided that we'd go to the park because we were up and we were ready, and we were like, right, let's just make our way there slowly, rather than sort of being like, I want to get there as quickly as possible to do as much as possible sort of thing. We just meandered.
Yeah. Okay, so now the Disney resort itself. We stayed at Port Orleans Riverside. We had a garden view room, was it?
Yeah, when we booked, garden view was the only option.
Yeah.
So they do like a view which is basically car park view.
Not standard.
Yeah, and then they have a garden view. I think when you say garden view, you kind of have this mental image of like this lovely, like, well cared for garden area with like topiaries shaped like Disney characters or something.
Let's be honest here.
Yeah, I think
it's a bit of grass with some aircons on it.
Yeah, the wording of it makes it sound this like secret garden-esque thing, and realistically it was a bit of grass with aircon units on it that were fenced off, and in fact our bit of grass was the dog park.
It was
so we also had dog poop bins.
But to be fair, we got to see poppers.
Yeah, we did. We got to see some really cute poppers, so you can't argue with that. But equally, the fact that it is, you're paying more for a garden view, I personally wouldn't bother.
No, I wouldn't bother paying for a garden view. I think either you pay a premium for the river view, you pay a little less of a premium for the garden view, but just a standard view is fine. It's not like there's tons of traffic anywhere around the actual buildings themselves, is it?
And also, it's not like you can actually see anything from inside your room, because the rooms are all set back a bit because of the footway, so yeah.
And also that the aircon is underneath the window, so you can't actually stand at the window. You've got to peep out the window.
Yeah, so not worth it. But
so price wise, we paid $2,500-ish for the
accommodation.
For the accommodation, that was 12 nights.
11 nights.
11 nights. So that comes out at £232 a night, which is about okay. Yeah, so that would be.
Let's remember, it is a moderate resort.
It is a moderate resort, yes.
I think for a moderate, that's a pretty good price.
That's about equivalent to Newport Bay and
Disneyland Hotel.
No, I don't think it's Disneyland Hotel. Disneyland Hotel's a little bit more expensive. No. This is Paris, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's equivalent to your top range hotel in Paris per night, I think.
Yeah, so
but like obviously the prices for the hotels in Walt Disney World vary like dramatically. Yeah. So this isn't a gospel, this is how much it should be. It's just this is what we paid. So yeah, this was for February, the beginning. It was the first 2 weeks of February. Beginning of February for 11 nights, and it came out about £232 a night. Yeah. Which ain't too bad. I thought like the rooms that were there, so like our room was a good size. Yeah, so the room had the standards, had big cupboards, 2 double beds for us, 1 bedside cabinet. Oh, just my pet peeve with hotels the world over. It's almost like I led you into that. I know you did. Just put a bedside cabinet on each side. Maybe, I'll admit, maybe this is only a thing for us because we both wear glasses. Like, it's annoying. You wake up and you're like, okay, I can't see. Oh, and now I've got to lean over to try and find them. because I've not got a bedside cabinet.
Got nowhere to put your glasses at night.
So
it's a simple thing.
It doesn't need to be like a full cabinet. Just put on a little shelf.
A little shelf, yeah.
Little shelf each side.
I ended up using one of the suitcases.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll be fair. I was the first one into the room, noticed it, and went, Bagsy's the bedside cabinet. There was a point where you were like, well, I'll just take the other bed, and I was like, well, no, that's the shopping bed.
The shopping bed. Yeah, you've seen pictures of that in the vlog. If not, look, it was a mess. So sorry, back to storage. There was a little clothes rail, plenty of drawers to put your clothes in, and there was tons of space underneath the bed to fit all your suitcases. You weren't lacking for anywhere to put stuff.
Yeah.
You had a little table, 2 chairs.
The safe wasn't like what I would consider a European safe, where they're like quite deep.
Yeah.
But it was tall enough that you could stand a laptop up in it like that way.
It was big enough.
Yeah, I mean, we put everything that we needed to into it, like jewellery and stuff like that all went into it perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not the sort of European standards of deep.
So the room amenities okay. The only issues we got is the aircon.
Oh,
the aircon was incredibly loud in the room. Thankfully, it wasn't too warm, and we got away with just having the ceiling fan on for most of the stay.
Yeah.
You didn't mind too much about the aircon. You slept through it quite a lot.
There were times where you had it on and I was napping, and it was fun.
Yeah. We'd only keep it on for a short amount of time, but because of the weather, you didn't really need it on anyway.
But it was loud.
It was loud. So, outside the room, the resort itself, they've got a quick service, table service, a bar.
Really good size shop.
Yeah, good size shop. And they've got a central pool, and they seem to have smaller pools in between every other building or something like that. I think it was every three buildings.
Like 4 buildings shared.
Yeah.
Not sure, but
we used the pool quite a lot, but we used the little pool, not the main pool, because it was...
Yeah, the main pool's the one that's like the themed, the water slides. I think it's got a bar bit.
Oh yeah,
well.
it's got a little pool bar, I think.
Yeah, so we didn't bother with that because it was just chaos every time we went near it. But the little pool that was in between our like buildings,
near Magnolia Building.
Yeah, that was really quiet.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a time where we ever like struggled to get a lounger and...
Yeah, that's a tip. Avoid the main pool unless you really want to go to it, and go to one of the smaller pools. It'll have a lot more enjoyable.
Another thing, by that pool, that we didn't use it, but it does have a laundress as well. If you were limited in what you could take in your suitcase and you wanted to leave room for bringing stuff back and not pay for an extra bag, you could actually just take 1 week's worth of clothes, do the laundry, and then have you...
To be fair, if we knew that was there beforehand, we probably would have done, because that's how we travelled around Japan, essentially. Yeah. We just did washing.
But yeah, I'd definitely do that in the future, just take like... Because the thing is, you could literally take your laundry down, put it on, sit by the pool or go in the pool, and then like an hour later, be done. And
there is a charge for the laundry as well, and detergent. And
yeah, I don't know how much it is.
It was too expensive.
No. Certainly from the amount of people who we saw coming out of it with like piles of laundry. There were people who looked like they'd basically done all the laundry so they didn't have to do it when they got home.
Which is a brilliant idea. I just don't have the energy for it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the place. Like I would happily stay at Riverside again. The only thing as well, I think, like the facilities are really good. The quick service we ate at a few times, really nice.
Yeah.
We didn't try the table service and we didn't really go in the bar.
No.
But they looked nice. They always looked busy as well, so people obviously enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But Riverside is only on a bus line.
Yeah.
It's not got the Skyliner or boats. I mean, it's got a boat, but it only goes to Disney Springs.
Yeah.
And even that to Disney Springs is slow and loud. It's not like a nice, relaxing...
So it's very limited in terms of transport to the actual parks. I mean, the vast majority of resorts will only have buses as well, but just for the size of the resort, the number of buses it had seemed relatively low. Yeah,
and maybe they put more buses on in the summer, but there were times when the buses were full and this was supposed to be low season.
Yeah.
we spent in total about $120 on using Lyft whilst we were there. Obviously that includes us getting from the airport hotel to Disney and from Disney back to the airport. So, you know, we were probably only spending about $5 on lifts going from the resort to the parks. But those $5 soon add up.
Yeah.
And I imagine if we'd have had to do that in high season, it probably would have been more than the $5 because there would have been more people wanting lifts. And so, like, scaled, wasn't it? So that, I think, for the fact that the resort is 3,000 people, you'd think that it'd maybe have another method of transport than just the bus.
Maybe something in the future. Maybe.
I don't know. But yeah, that's the only thing. But in terms of actually getting to the parks, the only park that it was a distance to was Animal Kingdom, which you expect it to be because of the animals.
It's a fair way.
Yeah, I mean everywhere except Animal Kingdom Lodge is a fair distance from Animal Kingdom, isn't it? So, like that way, I think it was good.
So, would you stay there again?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I would. I quite enjoyed it, and it's a nice resort for what I think the price is. So
yeah, definitely at that price, I think for a moderate.
I can see why a lot of other YouTubers recommend it.
Yeah,
as a location,
which is why we picked it because so many people recommended it to us. So, the other thing that we spent money on, other than the park tickets, obviously, is our dining plan. Yeah,
so we got free dining included because of the UK packages do seem to include free dining quite a lot, and also a 14-day park ticket offer, which isn't really available to anywhere else, as it seems. But we got the basic dining plan, which is 2 quick service and a snacks included. And then we paid £187 extra per person to upgrade to the...
I think it's called the deluxe dining plan. So you basically get a sit-down meal per day, a quick service credit and snack credit.
Yeah.
So we did that purely because we knew that we'd want a sit-down meal on an evening.
Yeah.
I think we could have got away maybe in the future with not bothering with the sit down, and just the couple of restaurants that we've wanted to do just paid separately maybe, but because some of the quick service stuff is big.
Yeah, the portion size in Walt Disney World is insane.
Yeah.
And also what you get for a quick service credit varies quite a lot across the parks and also the resorts.
Yeah, deluxe resorts, you get more for your quick service credit than you do at a moderate.
Yeah.
But once you've got the dining plan, it doesn't matter where you spend your quick service credit.
Yeah, so quickly insert some photos of what you get at Riviera, and then comparatively for Riverside. So in Riverside you get burgers and pizza, and in Riviera you get all sorts of interesting items which are still valued the same as 1 quick service credit. So it is very much worth having a look around at all the menus at all the resorts and deciding if you want to go somewhere particular for using a quick service credit.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it may find something you like a lot more.
Yeah. What was your favourite sit-down meal
Was
on the dining plan?
I was about to say, on the dining plan there's a table service.
Yeah.
Okay, so mine has to be Sana. A lot of people talk about it, a lot of people rave about it. I didn't really see how it could be so special until we got there, and then the setting, the food, everything was fantastic.
Yeah, we were really lucky as well that we got a window seat.
Yeah.
And I know that people like try really hard to get it and wait ages, but we literally rocked up and that was where they took us.
Late. We rocked up late.
We were 10 minutes late because the bus took ages going from Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
So I don't really know why we got it, but
no, we walked up, we were very sorry and said, oh, we missed our booking, sorry.
Yeah, we were stuck on the bus.
We were stuck on the bus, and they went, okay, that's no problem, and then next thing we're on a window table.
I don't know, but yeah,
can't argue.
It was
brilliant.
Really nice. And the bread service. I really enjoyed the bread service.
Yeah.
It was nice.
I mean, it's surprising that because in the UK, sort of naan breads and dips and stuff like that is very common in most Indian restaurants.
Yeah.
And when it was described to us, we were like, what could be so special about it? No, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah, it was definitely worth it.
So, what was your favourite restaurant?
Topolino's breakfast.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Topolino's.
So it's a character breakfast, but the reason that I loved it is that it's a made to order, so you don't have to go up to a buffet, which I've nothing against, like, character buffet breakfast or meals or whatever. But when there's only two of you, if you're going for a buffet, it doesn't really feel like you're eating with the other person.
No.
Because one person has to stay with your stuff, that other one goes off to the buffet, they come back, you swap. And by the time that second person's come back, the first person's finished. And you don't feel like you're actually having a meal with the person.
No, I can get that.
Whereas at Topolino's, we could pick what we wanted from the menu. You had little bread baskets with like some pastries, breads and cakes in it.
Yeah.
They had like mimosas and stuff, and
you loved that breakfast, didn't you?
Yeah, it was so nice. I had like apple cinnamon waffles or something.
Yeah, I had a potato and sausage hash, and it was
so
fantastic.
Nice.
It was a great meal.
But also the character interactions were really good. The outfits that the characters were in. So there's Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Daisy there, and their outfits were stunning. But also, we were on a table of two. So when we went to Chef Mickey's, yes, we had our table of two, but the tables were so close and so rammed in that I didn't feel like we were on a table of two. It was like a table of 10 because there was our two, the two people next to us who were on the honeymoon, and then the table of six next to us who were on a family vacation, but Uncle flipping, what was his name, Uncle Phil or something like that, hadn't come down because he'd got a new wife. And literally, we know their entire like life history because we were basically a table of 10
on the
because we were that
sat
close.
with the table, yeah.
Whereas in Topolino's, there was so much room and the characters could actually walk between the tables properly, to the extent that like Daisy Duck did a full ballet routine for us. We had Minnie doing voguing and stuff, and just was so good. So yeah, that's without a doubt my favourite.
Okay, so worst.
I suspect we've got the same worst.
I get the feeling we have as well.
Just say it after three.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
3.
50s prime time. Yeah, 50s prime time.
I can understand why people like it, but it's just not for me. Not for me at all. The food didn't feel great. The service didn't feel great. Everything just felt rushed and not great.
So when we went, we turned up like 10 minutes before our booking.
Yeah, something like that.
And we walked in and it was just chaos. There were just people everywhere. We gave our names and they were like, yeah, just take a seat. And we were like, where? You can't even stand in here. And
there's people waiting outside the restaurant as well.
Yeah, and then we were so we were like the 10 minutes until our booking window, but then like probably about another half an hour.
At least,
waiting. They finally called us, and the way that they were calling people was just literally hollering.
Screaming their name,
and then people just walking up. So, like, anyone could have walked up to any name, really.
Yeah.
There was no check or anything.
No reason.
The person who was working, like the waitress of our section, just did not care about anybody except this one table who were from a town 3 towns over from where she was from, who knew somebody that she knew and spent all of her time making sure that they added her on Facebook.
Yeah.
There were people in like our section who were like for ages sort of just
trying to flag her down to try and get the bill.
One table actually, the rest of the table left except for the guy who must have been like the dad or somebody, who literally just sat there waiting because they'd got fast passes and they'd gone off because they'd just been waiting so long.
Yeah.
And then the actual food itself was
not great.
No, it really wasn't.
No, I'm not saying that we're just complaining purely on the service alone, because everyone has bad days and cast members have bad days or get distracted and stuff like that. But right, we're quite happy to look other way for service, aren't we? But not
if
with
the food's good, I don't mind the service.
If the food's bad, then
but no, would not bother eating there again.
To be fair, it was a mistake booking anyway, wasn't it, as it turned out, because Joe wanted the sci-fi diner.
Sci-fi diner.
Not the 50s primetime diner.
But
I don't know whether that was me booking it, or was it in my name, or was it in your name?
in your name. It's your bad.
It feels like it was my mistake.
But I personally quite liked the decoration.
Yeah.
And I liked that I could basically just look at Dick Van Dyke on the screen and just every now and again go to you, he's back, call by me, Mary Poppins and stuff. But yeah, I on the whole would not eat there again.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Okay, so I think we need to make a special mention as well for our non-dining plan related meals, because we ate at Bull and Bear and also Victoria and Albert's as well.
Yeah, so Bull and Bear, the food was awesome.
Yeah.
The service, a couple of the waiters were amazing and they were awesome, but the person who was supposedly our like head waiter,
Maitre d' type
well,
thing.
yeah, it was like the maitre d', but only for
Yeah.
like 6 tables. Or
Yeah.
something. He was a knob.
Yeah.
Like,
But the food, we're not going to spend too much time on this one, but it's just, the food is good.
the food is good.
We were very tired, very full, quite drunk. I mean, good meal.
Yeah, my only other criticism of it, other than the guy who was a bit of a knob, is you are not sat on actual chairs, you sat on a sofa, then at a table.
Yeah,
Didn't like
the
that.
sofa thing was just not good.
No.
Ask for a table, proper table.
I don't
But-
get why they have sofas.
But anyway, Victoria and Albert's.
Oh my god. That
So-
was the most amazing meal.
That's an experience. A very expensive experience.
It was, and I think we should do a individual video on it because I have got some pictures of the food, and
Yeah.
it was amazing.
And we've also got our little menus that he gives us and all sorts.
Yeah, you get like little gifts and
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we need to do a separate video on this. We won't fill the time here, but
yeah, but just suffice it to say, it was amazing.
yeah, it was worth it. I couldn't see myself doing it every single time.
Oh, God, no.
I'm not rich enough to afford it every single time, but as a spoil choice, like one-off, can't beat it.
And then
So,
last
thing we want to really
comment.
go over. Yeah.
Is the after hours events.
Yeah.
So we went to the Villains after hours,
Yep.
Magic Kingdom
Yeah.
After Dark, I think it was called, or Animal Kingdom After Dark, and Magic Kingdom After Hours. But anyway, Villains after a Villains party, a Magic Kingdom night, an Animal Kingdom night, and a Cinderella Magic Kingdom
Yes.
morning. They are paid for ticketed extras, so they average out at about $130 per person.
Yeah, it's something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, we didn't book them at the time that we made our main Disney booking. We just did them in dribs and drabs, like leading up to the holiday. And the after hours, so you obviously get the park access, and then on the Villains, Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom nights, we got snacks.
Yeah, snacks and drinks included, which generally were bottles of water, bottle of Coke,
Popcorn.
popcorn, and Mickey-shaped ice creams of various descriptions.
Yeah.
Can't
So
argue.
they were tasty.
They were tasty, and they cost quite a bit. They cost a snack credit while you're in the park. So
Yeah, we actually got quite a few bottles of water.
Yeah.
Whilst we were at the first, because the first after hours we did was our first day at Disney, so we actually got quite a few bottles of water
Yeah.
that we then stocked up our mini fridge, so we never really needed to use snack credits for buying drinks. But the after hours stuff I thought was fantastic.
yeah, we might as well lump the Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom together because they were just both brilliant events.
Yeah, the parks were just open and you...
Plenty of time, no issues getting on rides. In Animal Kingdom we went on Flight of Passage
And
without
Navi
any
River.
queue, and Navi River as well. And then we spent most of the night in Dino Land because we enjoy that area. We were cut short by the weather. We went out at like an hour and a bit early because there was a massive storm coming in.
And also, some of Animal Kingdom was closed, so
Yeah, so-
anything that was around like the safaris or too close to the animals.
Which you can totally understand because the weather
Yeah.
was turning. So It would have been better if it was all open, but we still had a good time for the price.
Yeah, we did. And you can't control the weather.
Yeah.
It's just is weather, isn't it?
Magic Kingdom, we
just hammered Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
A Seven Dwarf Mine Train, and then did we do Seven Dwarfs at the Villains, or was it Pirates of the Caribbean?
It was at the Villains night at Pirates of the Caribbean. They had live actors.
Yeah.
So they had people like stood on some of the bridges and stood within the scenery and in the queue line and stuff. The Villains night also had a DJ set, a Hades like Villains show, which I think might be the same show that they did at Halloween last year. But either way, it was really good. And then they had a parade as well, which the parade was fantastic. There was nobody in the bit of the parade route where we were stood.
Yeah, so we went round towards, what's that section? Oh, New Orleans Square.
Liberty Square.
Liberty Square, that area around. And there was no one there.
Yeah,
absolutely no one there.
We literally sat on the wall and just watched the parade with no obstructions whatsoever. Yeah, it was just...
Coming from Disneyland Paris and annual pass holder events, that was a breath of fresh air. It really was.
Yeah, I really loved all of the nighttime after hours. The one that we didn't love was the Cinderella early morning magic, which, where to start on that?
Start at the beginning.
So when I booked it, it was only a few weeks before we went there. I booked that. It was, I think the day that we went was the first time that they'd ran it.
Yeah.
And when we got there, staff didn't have a clue what was going on. None of the cast members seemed to know what was supposed to happen. They just directed you through, checked your reservation on your phone, went, yeah, through you go, and directed everybody to Cinderella's royal table. Because on your booking, it actually showed up as a dining reservation. Except it wasn't. It was that you could go on all the rides that were in Fantasyland before the park opened, and then you had until 10 a.m. to go to Ray's Cosmic Cafe randomly to have a Cinderella celebratory breakfast, because it was themed breakfast because it was the 70th anniversary within this 2-week period. We started queuing up at the Cinderella royal table because that's what we were told to do, along with a lot of other people who also had just the same wristband that we did. They said that there were going to be characters, rare characters out related to Cinderella. Those characters, the only thing they did was walk the royal table line. They didn't go anywhere else into Fantasyland. We were stood there probably for about 20 minutes in total. Yeah. And whilst we were stood there, I was going, this doesn't feel right. Nobody in this queue, there's a mix of people who've got the wristbands and people who don't. Yeah. And people who don't are all talking about them going for their character breakfast. But this isn't a character breakfast. It's supposed to be a morning thing. So we started talking to a few other people who had wristbands, and they were like, no, we get breakfast in Cinderella royal table. That's what I was told when I booked it. And I was like, that sort of rings true with what I thought when I booked it. I'd just done it on the website, and it said about a morning with Princess Cinderella and her in her royal castle and all this. Yeah. Whilst we were in the queue, different people had asked different cast members. Nobody had a straight answer. So I ended up going onto the website and making out that I was trying to book it for the following week, and it said it was at that point that it said, you get access to the park, you can get to meet characters who are wandering around, and you can get breakfast at Ray's Cosmic Cafe. So we went, this isn't, queuing here isn't right. No. It's just access to the park. So we left that queue, and there must have been, I want to say probably 15 other families who had wristbands who refused to believe us and carried on queuing. Yeah. So we cut our losses at that point and just started going on rides, knowing that we had until 10 a.m. to go to Ray's Cosmic Cafe.
Yeah, because it was only a limited amount of time in the morning, so we'd spent nearly half an hour already queuing up in a queue that we weren't supposed to be in. So
yeah, and we'd been a little bit late getting there. So we'd already actually missed 45 minutes of what was only an hour and 15 slot to get on rides. So we looked at the rides and basically went, right, let's go on the carousel, because we like doing the carousel. We just don't like the queue for the carousel. Peter Pan's Flight.
Yep.
And then we did a couple of back-to-backs of Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Yep.
And I think we might have done the
with no queues.
Yes, there was no queues, because it was just literally only people who had the wristband could go on.
And the vast majority of people with wristbands were queuing up for breakfast, other places. So
yeah, so we didn't have any character interactions whatsoever, because they literally were only working the royal table queue.
Yeah.
So that was sort of a bit pointless, because people who were queuing up for the royal table hadn't paid for the thing that was supposed to include those character interactions, but whatever. And then we went to Ray's Cosmic Cafe, and the breakfast was worse than the quick service we'd been buying at Riverside.
Yeah.
It was just
It was
not
alright.
good.
The theming consisted of a sign saying that it's Cinderella's 70th, and also getting a couple of pastries and putting some blue icing on.
Yeah, and that was it.
And that was it.
So
If we really had the time and it didn't really get much out of it, we would have went and complained at guest services. But knowing already that there would have been a lot of people complaining, we just decided to give up.
I mean, we did then come out of Ray's Cosmic Cafe and walk straight into the end of a queue for Merida, so we were like one of the last to meet Merida. And I think as well, because we'd been on the rides, we then were already quite far into the park, so we could go and meet Minnie and Daisy within Pete's silly sideshow and stuff. So we made it work for us.
Yeah.
But if I'd have had a child, like some of those people in that queue who we were talking to, who had dressed their children up specially and told them that they were going to go to the royal table and stuff, then
I would have been incredibly annoyed.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we complained on Twitter to them, and they said, "Oh, you need to go to like guest services."
Yeah.
And as we were walking out the park, we basically said, if guest services doesn't have a massive queue, no, unlikely, but if it doesn't have a massive queue, we'll do it.
We'll go and have a chat.
If it does, we basically just went, let's just cut our losses.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're just wasting more of your day, aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
So I wouldn't do that again.
No.
But the rest of the after hours were awesome.
The Villains Party was great. The only negative I've got to say is that they started selling the merch for the Villains Night before the Villains Night, so by the time you got into the shop to actually buy stuff, most of it was gone.
Yeah, I mean, we did get what we wanted.
We got what we wanted, but still, it's a little frustrating. Villains Night was great fun. The after hours in Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom, worth it.
Yeah.
Even if you're just going to go crazy and fill up on snacks like we did. Unfortunately, they give you ice cream, so you can't take them away. We found this out in Animal Kingdom. We tried to take one to the bus stop, and it was a soggy mess by the time we got there.
As well, that's because the humidity had suddenly gone crazy for a thunderstorm. And we'll say as well, the Magic Kingdom after hours.
Yeah.
We did that our first day in the park.
Yeah.
And we had actually, by the time we had done that, we had done every single ride, with the exception of Peter Pan, Small World and the Carousel that we wanted to do in that entire park.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It was worth the money.
Yeah.
So if you're really stuck on time to get to the parks, an after hours event maybe just that magic little bit extra you need just to
I think as well, if you have flown Virgin Atlantic and it gets in at 3 p.m.
Oh yeah, that could be
after hours, because then you could literally just have like an hour's kip or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
go to the room, check in, have a bit, and then go straight out to the.
And that'll see you through then to midnight.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, that is essentially our trip in a nutshell.
Yep. So if you've got any other questions, feel free to drop a comment below, and
we'll try our best to.
We'll try and reply to as many as we can. If we get a lot of questions, then we might actually do another little video as well, part 2. But yeah, that sums it up really.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you dislike this video, give it a thumbs down. Doesn't really matter anyway.
It doesn't. If you want to subscribe, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell, which might work, it might not. Who knows?
There's a lot of if, buts and maybes with YouTube.
Particularly around that notification bell. But generally, do the YouTube stuff. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.